So good morning, everyone. It is 8 o'clock here in Toronto, so I'm going to just kick off this call. If you are a content lead, SMB lead, rooms lead, SPA lead, you're on the right call. If you're not, please make sure you're calling into IRD translation call. So today in my call, we'll be covering app content management. Unfortunately, Linnea is actually doing another call, so it's myself and Melissa on this call. Looking at the timeline here, we are at the second pink dot there that we are covering app content management. And in today's call, we'll be covering different phases. So you will learn how we transition from current app with Entality to new 2.0 design. And you'll also learn where the content exists. So you can review where the app content comes from and how it can be updated. We'll also cover some of the FAQs that we have received already to address some of your questions. And we don't think it's going to take any longer than 30 minutes, but I will try to get through as quickly as possible. If any questions come up, please feel free to enter in the comment box so we can address it at the end as well. So let's just jump right in. So in terms of content phases, there is roughly 3 phases that we are going through. So phase 1 would be content from AEM and request from Entality. We briefly covered this in the kickoff call last week. What's going to happen is information, so hotel information or those resort information tile will be disabled in Entality, and it will come from AEM. So we'll be referencing AEM a lot, and AEM is a content management system that works for web and the new app. Service requests such as housekeeping, IRD, and transportation requests will still remain in Entality, and SPA dining reservation and check-in and check-out will be handled through Messenger. And in phase 1, we ask that you do a content review. And in phase 2, you'll be reviewing. You'll be seeing content and both requests from AEM. So information will continue to come from AEM, and service requests will be then moved to AEM. So housekeeping and transportation requests will be coming from AEM. For in-room dining, this is when your in-room dining team will be working in Iris to make sure the content is inputted properly. So we'll still keep the Entality there until your in-room dining finishes and is ready to move on to Iris. And in phase 3, we'll finally kick off the new design, and service and information will continue to come from AEM, and IRD will be from Iris. So in terms of content leads responsibility, in phase 1, you will be responsible for conducting a content review to ensure that the app content matches what's on the website or what's true to the property. And in phase 2 and phase 3, since we are using the same content from phase 1, there is no additional action needed from your end to enable or update anything there. So this quick picture here so that you can imagine what's going to happen. So before phase 1 is the current app where you will see hotel services, make a reservation, accommodations, photos and videos, and offers and accommodations. So that's what you will see. In phase 1, where we get the information from AEM, you will see that there will be a new tile added, overview added. And hotel services, so that's the access to Entality's housekeeping, transportation, and those requests will be available from hotel services. And you will see there will be additional tile added for dining and spa. So basically, that's just a quick link for dining and spa section from AEM. For phase 2, what you will see, the hotel services tile will actually change. The name will change to Imran Dining, and the image will change to brand image. So that will be a quick link from the landing page to Intality's IRD. And then you will see that there will be a new tile called Make a Request added. So that is actually going to be the quick link to AEM content for housekeeping and transportation requests. In phase 3, what's going to happen is this is what you saw last week. So this is the new design that looks so much better than what you see here. So you will see that the content is quite similar to what you see here. So you'll see that there is a home screen and there's a message, which we already have. So we'll have a little bit different message based on the time of the day or the journey that the guest is in. But basically, this is what's going to be in phase 3. So before jumping into nitty-gritty of where the content is coming from, I just wanted to cover where the brand and property content is coming from. So brand content is the content that is standardized across all properties, and for consistency of guest experience, those cannot be changed. And if any exception is needed, a ticket must be submitted to Mobile App Help Desk so that we can review those requests with our brand team, as well as our digital team to make sure that's acceptable, and we can come back to you with the decision. For property content, you will see that it's circled in blue with PC. So property content is a property-specific content to your property that can be updated by your content manager who has access to Adobe Experience Manager, so that's the AEM, or by web team. So jumping into hotel information, so that's that's from home screen to overview to those property landing pages. So home screen, as you know, is a property content, and those are images that represent the exterior or interior of the property that the guest can easily associate with this destination. And just one call out before we go into everything. I just wanted to let you know that we do cover everything in mobile screenshot, but these rules apply to tablet as well. So just keep in mind for tablet properties online, those rules will also apply to tablet content. So going back to home screen, if this can be changed for the launch of mobile app, these cannot be changed for launch as they are created by brand team. After launch, you can contact Mobile App Help Desk with desired image number if you wanted to change the home screen, or if you're seasonal property and you would like to change the image from summer image to winter image, for example. The contextual messages that shows up on home screen. So contextual message prompts users to do a suggested actions relevant to the time of day or point in their stay. And these messages, again, are curated by a brand team, so these cannot be changed per property. Going into property landing page, in Phase 1 and Phase 2, a property landing page provides guests with a quick way to connect with the hotel team, so through phone call, chat, or email, and find the direction and address of the hotel. These can be changed. However, phone number, email, and address are very static. It doesn't change that often, so it should not be changed over time. But if you need to change that email address, for example, then you can contact Mobile App Help Desk to have these contact information and direction updated. And those sections that you see below, so those images and section names. So for phase 1 and phase 2, property landing page has multiple tiles that link to different sections of the app. So images for hotel review, hotel services, accommodations, offers, and photos and videos, those can be changed. And images for make a request and make a reservation cannot be changed as they run standard content. We recommend that you don't change those images unless it doesn't fit your hotel, just because as you can see in phase 3, those tiles will actually go away, so you no longer need to show those images. And if you wanted to make updates to these tile images, you will have to contact the mobile app help desk to let us know which images that you would like to use. But again, it is not really recommended because in a couple months you will have to remove those images anyways in phase 3. Going into hotel overview, what you will see is the address, property address, and an introduction. So property address and introduction will be pulled from a website intro text on the property homepage to provide a quick overview of the property. And address and introduction are static content and will not be changed unless introduction is changed on website. I don't think this is content that changes often. Again, so if you change the property introduction on your website homepage, then we will also change that for you. But that's the only time that we would update those introductions for you. And you will see under the hotel overview section, there will be an amenities list. So this makes it easier for guests to know what hotel has to offer, and it will continue to grow and enrich with information available to guests. So for launch, we'll have a dining spa, as you can see in the screenshot there, pool, fitness, and kids, golf, tennis, and executive lounge would be available for properties that have these facilities available. And can these be changed? The answer is no. Icons and orders of the amenities are standardized, and those cannot be changed. Going into detail page for amenities page, each hotel amenity will have a detail page which will pull content directly from AEM. So you'll see location and location within the hotel, image carousel if you have multiple images, hours and details. So for example, in this case, this is a pool. So if you have a different, you'll probably have the different depths and lengths for the pool. So you will add any information available for the pool onto the pool page. And can this be changed? So this can be changed, and this will need to be changed on the website before being changed on the app. So if you need to change any information in here, you'll have to contact the web team to have the content updated in AEM. And in terms of dining section, you'll see there will be a restaurant, bar, and lounge. So that will have a kind of like a list of images with the short description of the restaurant. So guests can scroll through different dining options on property. Restaurant image will be the first image on the restaurant's image console, and description will pull directly from AEM. And can this be changed? Yes, it can be changed. And if you need to change anything, you will have to contact the web team again because these are pulling directly from AEM. Going into the dining detail page, each dining outlet will have its own page with image carousel, short description, hours, authored menus, phone extension, attire, cuisine, and location within the hotel. So if you imagine what we have in entirety, this is such a better way of displaying the dining information because you didn't have an option to add different images, and we didn't really have a way to chat from that page. So now that we are pulling content from AEM, we are now able to add a chat page here, and we can also add a image carousel here. And reservation button will appear for restaurants that accept reservations. And can this be changed? Yes. So if you have to change any of the images or introduction or any of the extension, dress code, or location, you'll have to contact web team to have this content updated in AEM. And if restaurant menu needs to be updated, so if your menu changed, if your restaurant menu changed, then you need to make that update. Your content manager should be able to assist you with that. So your the PR director or PR manager should be able to assist with the menu update on FS.com. Going into spa page, in the landing page, we'll see there is a location of it within the hotel. You'll also see hours and favorites. So if you know how the website is structured, it is quite similar to how the website is structured. And you will see for the different spa services, it will be acting like a carousel. So different treatment menu will be offered as a carousel, and there will be a subsequent page that you can click into, and you will see the detailed page. So spa locations, hours, favorites will be pulled directly from AEM. So if you need to update the hours or locations or favorites, you'll have to contact the web team to have the content updated in the AEM. So clicking onto that detail page for spa, so you'll see that there is now the options are displayed in tiles, and once you click on that tile, you'll be able to look at the details, and options are suggested in the below description. So treatment name, description, and price pulls directly from AEM. So guests are directed to chat conversation once they proceed to check availability. If you need to update any of the menus, your content lead should be able to update the content in AEM, so they are able to assist if you need to change anything for the actual menu itself. Going in to make a request. So the request stage in phase 2, this is what it's going to look like for transportation and a housekeeping request. So it is a simplified the ability for guests to request services or items within the hotel. So lead time is not changing from what we had in Entality. So each property will have those lead time displayed there, and these icons and the order as well as the request name cannot be changed. So lead time listed above is for urban property, so you can add 10 minutes for resort lead time, but these are brand content and cannot be changed per property. In terms of the service request form, so once you click on Wake Up Call, for example, you will be using the consistent design that allows variety based on the request by the guest to ensure we can deliver it right the first time. So what that means is what we are using right now, we will be using the same verbiage. So it's consistent experience. If yesterday you're using Entality and you're moving to this new request form, it will be the same experience. So guest is effectively following the same steps, and you're able to capture the information that you need. And again, can this be changed? And the answer is no. All service request forms are brand standard, and form name, title, and all the confirmation messages, those are brand standard and cannot be changed. Again, lead time is now going to be changing. So based on the previous slide that you saw, we will not be able to change those per property, nor the titles and the descriptions here. And once you go into request tile, once you scroll down below that make a request sections, you'll also see amenities sections. So this is similar to what you have in Entality as a request item. So it allows guests to order amenities to personalize their stay, and guests can order multiple items in their basket. So it's like adding items to the basket for ordering any dining ordering services or any web purchasing services. So it's going to be a similar experience where you add items to basket to ensure that they don't need to enter and exit and to order items in the request sections. An item can be delivered at earliest available time or scheduled time. So remember what we covered in the kickoff call, where we can now provide a option to deliver earliest possible. We are able to do that now. And lead time for these items are 10 minutes. And this cannot be changed, as those are brand standard items and icons and item names. And again, confirmation message also cannot be changed because these are standardized across all hotels. So just going quick overview of summary of who is responsible for what, and what can be changed and what cannot be changed. So contextual messages on home screen and home screen featured cards, icons, any icons in service requests and amenities, those cannot be changed because those are brand content. Property-specific content would be facilities details and restaurants, as well as spa locations, hours, and favorites. Those can be changed by web team. And your content lead can also change restaurant menus as well as spa treatments. If you need to change home screen image, you will have to submit a help desk to mobile app help desk. We can change that for you after launch. So before going into individual questions, we wanted to cover some of the FAQs that we already received and that could be beneficial for everyone for us to answer. So when can I start content review? So content review can start mid-May to ensure information from AEM is up to date. We'll be sending a pre-production app. So if you remember pre-production app, it is similar to what you have from the App Store, but it actually uses, it's not, the data that you will see is not available to the guests. So it's like a testing app that we typically use for you to test the new functionality or review the content. So we'll be sending a pre-production app to property team to review hotel overview content. So that will be in phase 1. So if we went back to the original slide that we were looking at phasing, in phase 2 and 3, even though the design will be changing in phase 3, content that we will be pulling from AEM will not change, and no additional content review is really needed after mid-May. Another question that came in was, how often does app content get synced with web content? So for tablet properties, your content will be synced with web at 2 a.m. every night. And for mobile app, content will be synced every time guest closes and opens the app. And how quickly can web team update content? So that was the question that came on the kickoff call. I did check with the web team, and once you open the ticket with web team, they will provide you with estimated time of completion to make sure that you're aware how long it's going to take to complete your request. Because of the volume, so if you have 10 items that need to be fixed, they might quote you longer time, but their standard response time for non-urgent issue is within 5 days. However, if update needs to be made before the 5 days window, you can note the urgency in the request, and they are typically able to accommodate your request. And another question that came in was, once we go live, how often should I review app content? So we recommend you to review your app content each time you make updates to the website to ensure the same update is reflecting on mobile app. But it is also recommended to review that app content every quarter to make sure content is up to date. So you may find that you might have a winter offerings in the app when it's actually summer already. So it's just a good practice to cross-check what's on the website is reflecting to what's on the mobile app. Whoops, I skipped one slide. So what happens with daily activities? So we have received this question from resorts properties that in Tality we had a daily activities where you could list different times and different activities. So we'll be testing a new solution with this new design for daily activity with 13 pilot properties at launch, and we'll be reviewing those feedback from pilot properties to ensure we can capture any additional requirements needed for displaying daily activities in the app. So we will provide more updates to this, but we want to make sure it works with those properties, and then we want to launch it to the wider list of properties. So in terms of next steps, mobile app team will be sending a pre-production app to review hotel overview content in May. And we ask that you review content in pre-production app to ensure content is up to date. We'll be sending this PDF slide to you after the call around 10 p.m. tonight, so that you will have a list of people that you can contact in case if you need to update any of the content. In terms of next training, for the mobile app, the next training is Messenger Request Management, and self-training guide will be sent to athletes to familiarize with new request management process for check-in and check-out and spa requests. So these will be self-training guides, so we will not have any additional code, but we will have a quick video to show how the request management will be changing, and we'll also have a guide so that you can instruct your team to get familiarized with the new functionality within Messenger. As usual, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact us at the mobile app help desk. This help desk is monitored by myself, Linnea, and Melissa. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. So this is it for what we needed to cover today. I do see a couple questions that's coming in. So first question is from Felix. Laundry pickup is 240 minutes. Is this correct? So yes, it is correct. So how it is set up, even today or in future, is this is the time that the guest can pick to have their items returned. So in the earliest time that the guest is able to pick is the 240 minutes from now on. So that is why you see that the lead time is 240 minutes. But your team is going to go pick up the item as soon as you receive that request. We'll cover this in the request management training, but just to address your question, it is 240 minutes today, and it will be same for when we move to the new design. And there's another question from Andriana. What if we have special offers, promotions for F&B? How will that be incorporated? So we are working with our brand team. So if you sold that favorite sections, we can add that to dining sections as well. As I know there's like properties that have signatures. Signature dishes, not signatures, signature dishes. So we're trying to incorporate that to the mobile app. For the launch, we will not have that functionality available, but we really welcome your feedback. So if you feel that you will have F&B offers once in a like once in a quarter, once in a month, let us know. And we would love to know what is required in terms of content, and we'll be happy to we'll be working with you. Again, as we highlighted on the kickoff call, this is your platform. This is our platform. So if anything that is really important to you, we would like to review and see if we can apply to all the hotels, all the hotels and resorts. There's another question from Lama. Will the chat training call be available on Workday Learning? Yes, Lama, we will add that to Workday training, so you can review that in there. We haven't added yet, so we will make sure that's added. And once we send that self-training guide, we'll also send you a link to that video, so you can review that as well. And there's another question from Yasmin. Will there be an advertising section like we had on the old system? So when we initially designed this app, we did have within the hotel overview section, we had something similar to favorites. And we are able to add that, but we wanted to make sure what kind of content should be going under there. Just because there's a character limit and it has to link to some page. So we are still determining what's the best approach to add those advertisements. So again, this is something that we look to add, but at the moment with launch, we will get everyone on board, and then we'll expand those functionality for you. And then there's another question from Stefano. Will we be able to make changes directly in AEM, which will be reflected in the mobile app without going through WebTeam? For the restaurant and spa, you will be able to change those menus directly in AEM, so you won't have to go through WebTeam to update those information. If it's something like locations or hours, those will need to be addressed to WebTeam. There's another question. Would you please send timetable with what's required from us so everyone will know what's required and when? So in terms of what's required from you, we do not require any additional information from you. We did take most of the information from what we had in the old website, as well as what's in mobile app. So we actually don't need any additional information from you. If anything, what we need is once we provide the pre-production app link to you, we ask that you review those content and make sure it's up to date. And if anything is different and if anything has changed, just let us know so that WebTeam can go ahead and update it for you. Let me just 1 second. And then there's another question from Shiela. The main contact is help desk, or there's another contact to be in touch with AEM team. So main contact, so I'll send you a slide that has who to contact, but basically main contact for questions about mobile app would be mobile app help desk. Main question about web content that will be reflected into to mobile app will be web team. And there's another question from Stefano. Where can we access this presentation to share with our colleagues? So we will be sharing this presentation as well as recording today at 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. tonight. We will also add it to iShare, so you will be able to access that from there as well. Another question from Lama. For now, not all call invitation and content are sent to IT and learning. Could you please make sure they're involved? So if you're, last week we've asked your team to make sure that all the leads are added to mobile email groups. So if you're not added to that group, you're not receiving an invite or output email. So make sure your IT team is adding you to those lists so that you're receiving any upcoming invites and output emails. And there's another question from Shaw. Will there be a spa request button in the future? Is that from spa treatment section? So that is something that we are considering, and we've also spoke with the spa leads from the field to make sure we can capture what we need in terms of, do we integrate with with the spa system, or do we what is the best experience for guests as well as operations team. We're still reviewing those requirements, and for the launch of the Mobile 2.0, we will not be having those integrations. So the experience you will have as a guest is it's going to be a chat conversation to make sure that you can capture the availability. You can capture the time that the guest wants to book a treatment for. Again, Shaw, we will be sending a self-training document as well as a short video to provide you with overview of that experience. So you will see that, you'll be seeing that in inbox next week to make sure that you're comfortable with that experience. And we won't be launching with that experience until early June. So you won't have to, you will have plenty of time practicing within using the pre-production mode. So it seems like that's it for questions for now. Again, we will be sending the output email after our last call tonight. And we'll make sure that we have links to this document as well as recordings so you can access them. If you're not receiving those output emails, please contact your IT team to make sure you're added to those email groups. Thank you again for joining the early morning call. I hope we will speak again in a couple of weeks to go over the request management training. But for now, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact Mobile App Help Desk, and we'll be happy to get in touch with you. Thank you.